I'm just going to get right to business. I'm really starting to think this bald fraud right here, Dana White, has completely given up on even caring or trying to promote the UFC, to help the UFC in any way. Does he even run the UFC anymore? I mean, I'm starting to think he's like been secretly replaced or something. We'll actually start with this. So, Joel Alvarez is out of UFC 315. Now, we'll talk about that card a bit later because that card itself is atrocious. But this fight, Benoit Saint-Denis was supposed to face Joel Alvarez, and Joel Alvarez pulled out with an injury. And this is the guy that they found for Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, I want to remind you something. The UFC has dozens of lightweights. I mean, lightweight has to be the most stacked division in the sport by far. I mean, they probably have more lightweights than they do heavyweights, welterweights, middleweights. And this is the guy they found for Benoit Saint-Denis. Mind you, Mateusz Rebecki said he could have made weight. Mateusz Rebecki, if you don't know, he's this really good unranked prospect. He would have been perfect stylistically for Benoit. You know? Mauricio Ruffi, he threw his name in the hat. I'm not sure if he could have made weight, but he could have found something. But this is the guy they found. Do you guys know who this guy is? I think he's like 2-2 in the UFC, I think. I don't even think I think he's actually not in the promotion anymore. I'm pretty sure they found him off the street and said, "Oh yeah, you used to fight for us, right? Come back on, kid." Dozens of lightweights, 20, 30, 40, 50 lightweights probably signed to their roster. And this is the guy, this is the best guy they could find. Are they even trying anymore? Seriously? And if you want to look at the full card itself, I mean, Bilal versus JDM, that's a great main event. Perfectly fine, serviceable main event. Co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. Do you guys really want to see this? I mean, Manon Fiorot versus Valentina Shevchenko, fine. You better have a stacked undercard, though, right? Jose Aldo versus Ariel Helwani. Not Jose Aldo versus, I don't know, fucking Rob Font maybe, or Henry Cejudo. Any of these like really cool names that he could have had like a really nice fight with. We found, hell, I would have even taken him versus a freaking Marcus McGee or like, no, Marcus McGee, yeah. I take that back. But Amian Zahabi, really? Really? Just because he's Canadian? Who cares? Jose Aldo, the legend. We only have him for a few more fights and then he's going to retire. The guy's 38. He could be 40. We don't know how old he actually is, right? That's the rumor, but the guy's 38 on record, on paper. We only have him for a few more fights and then he's going to retire. He's a legend of the sport. Dana himself says he respects legends, right? When he was talking about Stipe and Jones. But you know who we got for you, Jose Aldo? We got Amian Zahabi, kid. And before that, you know who he had for you? Freaking Mario Batista. And then Jonathan Martinez before that. Let's keep going. Alexa Grasso, Natalia Silva on the main card. Another women's fight. Yo, you guys know this is going to be a banger though, right? Let's keep going. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Prepolek. Oh, so he's Canadian. So now it makes sense. No, now it makes sense why he's on this card. This unranked nobody. Now it makes sense why he's on this card. Because he's a Canadian. So no, we can't have Mateusz Rebecki fight Benoit Saint-Denis. There's no way we could do that. We can't have somebody do we can't do a catch weight fight. There's no way. We have to do Benoit Saint-Denis versus some Canadian off the street. Just because he's Canadian. Benoit Saint-Denis is already Canadian. Well, he's French, but same thing. This is your main card, by the way. We don't have to look at the prelims. This is your main card. Benoit Saint-Denis versus a nobody. Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. Who cares? It's a women's fight. Aldo versus Amian Zahabi, a guy who has no hype behind him at bantamweight. No fan base whatsoever. His only claim to fame is that he looks like Ara Hawani, haha. Shevchenko Fiorat. No one cares about Manon Fiorat. Nobody on this planet, man. She's so awful at fighting. And Shevchenko is too, man. Honestly, Shevchenko's awful as well. Bilal Muhammad JDM is a great main event. I like this main event. It's a good fight, even though it has a very high chance of being boring. But if you're going to put Bilal and JDM, where's like Oliveira? Where is Peter Yan? Where's the stars? Where is everybody? I'm just baffled, man. I'm so baffled by this. What are these cards, man? I mean, the prelims, who cares, right? It's just, these are the prelims. Iwan Kutalaba, that's cool. It saves the card, right? But seriously, though, awful. Then the card immediately after is an Apex card with Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales on it, which you could have put on 315, but no, we have to do an Apex event. You don't understand, guys. We have to do an Apex event. We just have to. So we could have had number 8 ranked Gilbert Burns versus number 12 ranked Michael Morales, an exciting prospect, one of the most exciting prospects in the sport. You could have put that on the main card of 315 instead of Grasso versus Natalia Silva. Hell, I would have taken this as a co-main event over Shevchenko, but no, because we have to do an Apex event. We have to. You don't understand. You don't understand, bro. Paul Craig, Rodolfo Bellato, Sadiq Youssef, Myron Santos. All of these guys could actually be on some of these pay-per-views. I'm not saying a Sadiq Youssef fight would save 315 or 317 or 316, excuse me, but these are decent names, you know. Julian Erosa is back. Stolzfus versus Ruzaboyev. Gabe Green, Jared Gordon. Decent Apex card, right? Decent Apex card. I mean, then you got fucking... Jesus, you got 2 women's fights in a row. Then you got another women's fight. Eesh. Not a good look. But, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Seriously. We had to... Just, like, what? You know how hard it is to be a UFC fan, man? And then the very next week, we're in the Apex again for Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. I wonder how this fight is gonna, like, I wonder if this is gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a war. We're gonna get a KO, a sub. I wonder how this fight is gonna go. Like, you guys know that it's gonna be a stinker 5-round boring fight where Aaron Blanchfield throws strikes like it looks like she's never struck, like she's never hit a bag before, like she's never struck another person before. Both women just suck. But she's number 4 ranked, bro. Co-main event, by the way, Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein. As the co-main event, Mateusz Gamrot, Ludovic Klein could have actually helped 315 or helped 316. But no, this has to be in the Apex because we know that nobody would watch Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber. And no one is still going to watch it. Who cares if Gamrot's in the co-main event? I love Gamrot. I think he's awesome. That's why I'm upset. Billy Goff versus Chinese man number 5. Oh, he's Korean, sorry. Dustin Jacoby. We got Zachary Reese on this card, bro. Like, come on. Another Apex card. 2 men fighting. Ketlin Vieira, Macy Chasson. Ramiz Brahimaj, Oban Elliott, all the way at the bottom of the prelims. What are we doing here? Guys, Oban Elliott is on a 3-fight winning streak. He's a really exciting prospect with some decent name value. Like, he's been promoting himself very well. Ramiz Brahimaj is coming off of a great first-round KO in his last fight. So here's what we do, right? We're going to make them face each other. We're going to make two of our most exciting unranked welterweight prospects face each other, and we're going to throw it on the undercard of a Macy Barber fight night. This is the genius of the UFC, guys. You don't understand. This is genius. This is a level of matchmaking and promoting. Just you wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't understand it, guys. You wouldn't understand it. Yeah, two of our most exciting welterweight prospects. Not only are we going to make them face each other, even though Ikram Aliskerov gets to fight Robert Whittaker and not Shafkat, what's the other Dagestani guy, the one with the one eye? He gets to fight MVP. But two really good prospects, we're going to make them fight each other instead of just... It doesn't end. Then we go back to 316. Merab versus Sean O'Malley. Right? A fight no one really asks for at all. A fight that has no hype behind it. They're not promoting it really. O'Malley's pretty boring. Merab is Merab. He's doing pull-ups on mountains and stuff. He's probably going to freaking die in the build-up to this. Hopefully not. I like Merab, but... Co-main event, Pena Harrison. I mean, it's cool, I guess. This is really kind of just a repeat of the 315 card. It's like... Except this main event is worse because this main event no one asked for. At least people are excited to see JDM potentially become champ. Who cares if O'Malley wins again? Who cares if Merab retains? I like both guys, but I would rather see Merab versus someone else. Someone like a Pantoja. And then O'Malley versus Peter Yan. If the UFC was smart, they would say, you know what we should do? Merab Pantoja, main event of UFC 316 with O'Malley versus Peter Yan as the feature fight. Co-main event, you could have done Pena Harrison still. It's fine. If you have to do it, right? But no. Vicente Luque, Kevin Holland. Why is Kevin Holland getting a ranked opponent after one win? This guy has the biggest case of Dana White privilege I've ever seen. He just came off of one win at welterweight. One win against Gunnar Nelson. One win. And they're giving him number 14 ranked Vicente Luque just like that. No one's talking about this. This is insane. The guy's coming off of one fucking win. And he's getting Vicente Luque number 14 ranked. There's guys at hell, Oban Elliott, who I just mentioned, deserves Vicente Luque, a name like that. Brian Battle, where's he been? Guys that have actually been actively putting on winning streaks at welterweight and putting in good work. But no, because Kevin Holland's kind of funny and Dana likes him. He's getting a ranked opponent? Are you fucking kidding me, guys? Kevin Holland. The UFC just... They throw him on any main card because he's like a star in their eyes. He has no fanfare. Nobody cares about Kevin Holland. Honestly, okay, cool. He won his last fight. Dude gets a ranked name. Gastelum Joe Pyfer. I mean, cool. Pyfer's going to destroy Gastelum. Ooh. Where the fuck is Peter Yan? I know I already said this, but where's Armin? Where's Peter Yan? Where's Charles? Where's the big names? Where's John Jones? Where's Aspinall? Where's Cyril Gahn? Where's the top contenders? Where's Strickland? I mean, I know he just fought. But come on. Where's Whittaker? Where are these guys? These guys are just all went. Where's Baraujo? Where's Amavov? These guys have all just went into hiding collectively. We haven't seen any of these guys. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Marlon Vera, Mario Batista. Oh, this is a banger, guys. Marlon Vera, Mario Batista. Nobody cares. We all know this is going to be a snooze fest. We all know this is going to be a snooze fest, guys. And maybe Mario Batista could have an exciting fight, but we'll see. Joshua Van Bruno Silva is solid. I like Joshua Van. It could be a solid fight. We're still doing this Wayne Kong experiment. She's facing Ariana De Silva. I know Chase Hooper, the Gooner, is going to be watching this one closely. Johnny Walker, Azmat Mirzakhanov. And this is the whole card, by the way. This is all they got so far. Johnny Walker, Azmat Mirzakhanov. We're still doing Johnny Walker in 2025, huh? This guy's still around. One pinky flick to his chin and he just gets KO'd. One you just blow in his face and he gets knocked out. A gust of wind just knocks this guy out. And if you want to jump all the way to 317, TBD versus TBD. Now I want to remind you guys. I'm about to burp. And if you want to jump all the way to UFC 317, to be determined versus to be determined. How? UFC 317 is about 7 weeks away, 6 weeks away. We know Ilya is going to be on it, right? Even if they have something penciled in, even if they have Ilya versus Islam already booked, can somebody please explain to me, anybody who's watching this, why would you not announce that and hype it up as much as possible? Even if it's Ilya versus Charles, hell, even anything. Announce it already. Where's the press conferences? Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev has the potential to be the biggest fight in the history of combat sports. Okay, that's exaggerating. In the history of the UFC, at the very least. If they promoted it well, if they did press conferences. But no, we'll do a press conference for O'Malley Merab a month ago. They did one. Two guys who are not good on the mic at all. But no. UFC 317, International Fight Week, the UFC's version of the World Cup or the Super Bowl. The biggest UFC pay-per-view, should be the biggest UFC pay-per-view, whatever it's called, UFC pay-per-view of the year. I'm freaking slurring my words. I'm so heated about this because if you have an Ilya Topuria versus an Islam Makhachev, why not do a press conference in Spain like you used to do for McGregor? Before he even won a belt, they did McGregor Aldo, a press conference in Brazil, a press conference in freaking Ireland, before McGregor even touched a belt. Isn't that insane? Mind you, Topuria is like just knocked out the featherweight goats back to back. He's moved up to a new division, and his opponent is potentially on track to become the greatest fighter in UFC history. No promotion for it. If that's the fight. And even if the fight is just Ilya versus Charles, where's the promotion? That's still a big fight too. Charles Oliveira, former world champion, one of the lightweight goats. Ilya Topuria, again, I already said his accolades, just knocked out two of the best light heavyweight, featherweights, back to back. He's moving up a weight class, wants to test himself at this new weight class. But no, we can't. We're at the UFC. We can't promote anything. We can't. We can't tell you guys the main event at 317. You know why we can't do that? You guys want to know why? You guys want to see why? This is why. This is why. This is what Dana White's been doing with his time. He is the official promoter of Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. First of all, this is crazy to me. Dana White, he hasn't even, and I didn't mention this, he didn't even show up to the last fight night's press conference. Like he's usually at the post-fight press conferences. He wasn't at that. You know why he wasn't at that? Because this is what he's been doing with his time. He's promoting Canelo versus Crawford. That fight is happening in September. That fight is happening in September, and he's not promoting Ilya Topuria's next fight or Makhachev's next fight. He didn't promote Pereira Ankalaev months before, or any of these other big fights, Strickland Adesanya, or DDP Strickland, or DDP Adesanya, or name any big fight that's happened in the past couple of years. Ilya versus Holloway, Ilya versus Volk versus Diego. Were the UFC promoting those fights months before? No. We're in May, and they're promoting a fight that's happening in September with Canelo and Crawford. Insane. How? I'm honestly starting to secretly think he's just been like quietly like pushed out of the UFC, and there's gonna like I'm starting to genuinely believe there's gonna be an announcement the next couple of days, like Dana White has stepped down from the UFC or whatever. Because I don't even know who's like I honestly, it's easy to point the fingers at Dana and just put it all on him. And this whole the title of this video is the Dana White has given up on the UFC, and I do think he has. I do think he has, or maybe the UFC has given up on him. I really don't know, because seeing this image come out a couple of days ago when us UFC fans are begging and pleading for one good super fight. We're pleading for Jones Aspinall. We're pleading for Ilya Islam. Some big fight. The fact that they've already announced the main event of UFC 318, which is Poirier versus Holloway, they've announced that. But they've not announced Makhachev versus Topuria or Topuria Oliveira, whatever that main event is going to be. We know Topuria is going to be in it somehow. The fact that they've announced, I don't know. I really don't know anymore. It's baffling. It's indefensible. It's baffling. He's spending his time now. He's going to be spending his time promoting Canelo versus Crawford, because he's the official promoter of this fight. So he's going to be doing media, talking about this fight. He's going to be doing interviews, press conferences. Boxing, people talk about boxing, and I believe it was MMA Guru that made this point, and I really agree with him here. Boxing is not really a better, more exciting sport than the UFC. Yes, it's been around longer, so it's always going to have those fans. It just has that familiarity with the fans, right? Old people like it, younger people. It's easier to get into than MMA. There's more boxing gyms out there in the world. But boxing, man, like Terence Crawford is a pretty boring guy, all things considered. Like Merab Dvalishvili barely speaks English, has a way better personality than Terence Crawford. Canelo, he's actually got a personality, to be fair. Now he knows English. But Terence Crawford is a pretty boring guy. Devin Haney, the most boring guy in and outside of the ring. The dude's got 2 million followers on Instagram. The dude is like a bit of a draw. I wouldn't say he's a draw in terms of a pay-per-view draw, but people are interested when he fights. And he's the most boring human being on planet Earth. Isn't that insane? When you look at a guy like Alexandre, whatever his name is, Pantoja. I mean, look at Pantoja. Way, way, way more exciting of a fighter than Devin Haney. Has given us more highlights in combat sports. Has been a better contributor to combat sports than Devin Haney has or ever will be. And nobody cares about him. The UFC doesn't promote him for shit. He's at the bottom of the pound-for-pound rankings, which I don't know if the UFC handles that, to be fair. I think that is the media, but still. Crazy. There's so many guys. There's guys in the UFC that get first-round KOs, and you wouldn't know who they are. You wouldn't care to know who they are. You wouldn't even know it, because the UFC doesn't care. The UFC doesn't care to put effort. But guys like Terence Crawford somehow have Shakur Stevenson. Look at this guy. Super boring fighter. One of the most boring boxers on planet Earth. The guy's got a fan base. The guy has a bunch of millions of followers. He gets paid a couple mil every fight. Even though it's insane, it's insane. Because this guy probably gets paid let's say $5 million a fight, right? He produces zero entertainment. Yet because of the slight interest he brings in, $5 million, let's just say. It has to be around there for sure. Meanwhile, Pantoja's like, here's $500K for you, Pantoja. That's how much he gets paid. He'll get a first round sub, or he'll have a war with Moreno or something. Peter Yan, one of the best freaking strikers in UFC history. Here's $300K, kid. I know he's probably getting paid more than that, but come on. Peter Yan should be paid more than Devin freaking Haney and all these other boring boxers. Again, some of these guys have zero personalities. Zero personalities. And they're like the stars of boxing. But the UFC, they don't promote their fighters the way boxing does. They don't promote Alex Pereira nearly as much as they should. Nearly as much, let's be honest. I know he doesn't speak English and stuff, but he should be doing way more. Way, way, way more. Not just, oh, look, he's in the crowd at UFC Mexico, and he waves to the... No. Oh, look, he's doing an interview with Nina Drama. No. Promote this guy like he's the baddest man on the planet, because he is. Well, before he lost to Ankalaev, you know. JDM. I know he has no personality, but you know how you make up for that? By showing his highlights, by promoting him, by making him feel like a star. It's insane. Ilia Topuria should be a superstar. He should be a megastar. That guy should be like the biggest star in combat sports with the amount of highlights he's producing. Like, how is it that Ilia Topuria is like 2 flatline KOs in a row, then he 50-45 Josh Emmett, and then he had a couple of great finishes before that? How is it that he's like getting paid less and has less attention on him than when Devin Haney fights? How is that possible? I know he has a Spanish fan base, and he is on the cusp of becoming a superstar if he's not already there, but it's like he should be on another stratosphere, man. Whereas a guy like Terrence Crawford, he fights once a year. His last fight was kind of mid. He's had a couple mid fights throughout his career. He's had great fights and great performances as well. Canelo's last couple of fights have been shit too. But it's Canelo. He has a name. They know how to promote him. It's Canelo. He's got a name. When he fights, the world stops and they watch. Even if he's fighting a nobody. He fought a nobody last weekend. And people stopped and they watched. You know why? Because boxing promoters clear UFC promoters and clear Dana White, the UFC promoter, out of the fucking water. There is no UFC promoters. The UFC promoter is one guy, and it's the guy that has now become a boxing promoter. So what does the UFC have? Hunter Campbell? I don't even know what the solution is here. Do we just get rid of Dana White and replace him with Hunter? Then what? I don't know if Hunter's going to be good for the job. But at this point, it's like something's got to give. So I don't really know the solution here, but I mean, you saw the cards I showed you, awful. We don't have any news on UFC 317. You know, earlier in the video I showed you Benoit Saint-Denis' opponent is some nobody because they just couldn't get another good lightweight. Are you really going to tell me they couldn't get any other lightweight? No, they just picked the easiest, cheapest option. It's just ridiculous. Dana White, now a boxing promoter. He shitted on boxing for years. For years. Shitted on De La Hoya. Now he's a boxing promoter. So who's the UFC promoter then? Where are you? I just saw JDM and Bilal do a face-off. Dana wasn't in the middle for that, but he was in the middle for this. It's like he's just giving up. I don't know. I really don't know what the solution is here. I don't know what us fans could do. I mean, I'm not the only MMA YouTuber that's, done videos like this. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but the UFC is it's on a downward slope, and it's just rolling down this damn hill. I don't know. Overall, I don't know. I mean, the solution really... I don't know. I don't know. This guy the reason for it? Like no announcement on 317 yet. The event is in about 6 weeks. Nothing. No press conference. And even when they do announce it, it's just going to be a Dana White Instagram video. I'm done, man. I'm sick of... I want to do a positive video on the UFC, but make sure you guys like and sub. Become a member in the description. Peace.